Alright, welcome back to the File Scoreboard podcast. I'm your host, Gyroid Gaming, here with my co-host,
Adam the Atomizer.
and today we are reviewing the game Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PS1. So, this game was actually kind of an interesting pull, like having to play on an emulator for the PS1 was definitely interesting. Took quite a bit of legwork, but I played, I'd say, roughly half an hour to an hour of this game. I don't remember exactly how much, but somewhere in that ballpark. What about you, Adam? How much did you play this week?
I think I played about half an hour of the game. Enough for me to get a feel of the controls and like the overall story. Well, maybe not the overall story, but the intro definitely helped.
Yeah. Alright, so you want to take it away with gameplay?
Alright, so, gameplay. So, having never played a Castlevania game, I didn't really know what to expect, but when they threw us into the final fight of whatever was the previous game was, we had to fight Dracula, that was actually pretty interesting. Like, to give us a perspective, like the controls were obviously a little bit different. You had your whip thing, you had whatever power they decided to give you before the fight. But then when you get to the actual game, like the one where you're playing as Alucard instead of Richter, then you have this whole inventory system with like a shield and a sword and stuff like that. It was just actually pretty fun. Like your different buttons are like your different hands, and like I thought that was a really cool feature. Anyway, but there's also this part where you get without spoiling what happens in the game. Like you end up losing all the gear that Alucard already had, so you start from basic, and that's when I actually discovered that you have a right hand and a left hand. I thought it was just a sword and a shield at the time, which was like, oh, okay, this game is really cool, really thoughtful. So, honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. So, that being said, my gameplay score is a 20 out of 25.
Interesting. So, I also felt very similarly about it. The I enjoyed the interesting change where they let you play where they let you play the thingy at the beginning where it was Richter instead of Alucard, and it was interesting to see the just the visual differences as well as the actual differences. Like they had a whole they made the whole HUD from the previous game and put it in the beginning section specifically just so it looks like the end of the last game, so it can be um, the last one at the beginning, and I found that interesting. One thing I was a little bit disappointed by was that they kind of baby you through the first fight. So if you die once, then you get revived and you're invincible.
I hadn't thought about that part.
Yeah, but but I did enjoy the fight overall. Besides that, I wish they didn't baby you and I had a chance to actually like try and beat it. But either way, I also enjoyed the inventory system. I thought that was a good touch where you could like pick different hands, you can collect different items and stuff. I always love those kind of games where like they let you feel so powerful, and then they're like, actually no, here's your items are all gone. Now you gotta try to become powerful. It's a fun trope. I think
That is a
like
fun trope, honestly.
yeah,
And,
where like
and thinking about it,
you're
this
like
makes me
the
want to
most
reevaluate
powerful
my gameplay
character.
score.
Yeah, makes you the most powerful character in the game, and then all of a sudden you like strip down to nothing. But yeah, so my gameplay score is a 20 out of 25.
I gotcha. Like hearing you explain it the way you did, like I enjoyed that trope as well because like I enjoy feeling powerful, but then knowing what I'm working up to actually just makes the journey a lot more enjoyable. So I want to update my gameplay score to a 22 out of 25.
Nice. Alright, so enjoyability. I very much so enjoyed this game. The one thing I will say that took away some enjoyment for me was the fact that I did not know how this emulator worked very well, and I accidentally did not create a save file correctly. Like, I didn't create like a memory card on the system, so when I died, it reset my whole game and I had to restart. That wasn't super fun. I guess that is also part of replayability, but it also affected my enjoyability. So
And we all know how you feel about replaying levels.
Yeah, we all know how I feel. I don't like replaying levels. So, although it wasn't super bad replaying it, the annoying part was having to like skip through the whole dialogue of like the whole end of the game and beginning of the next game dialogue was a lot. Mm-hmm. Which the first time wasn't bad because like you're learning for the first time. But having to replay it, you're just like, why am I looking at this? It's taking forever. But yeah, so the gameplay itself and the actual like game itself was very fun. I enjoyed the little bit that I got to play of it, and I honestly wish I had more time with it, but oh well. Anyway, that would put my enjoyability score at a 19 out of 25.
Not bad. Not bad. So enjoyability for me, like, this is kind of linked to my gameplay score a little bit. Hang on, sorry. So, enjoyability for me was, like, I had a good time playing the game. Like, this is gonna sound like me repeating what I said for gameplay, but, like, I enjoyed the part with the sword and the shield where you have all the power, but then like having to rebuild that power by experimenting with weapons and stuff like that later on actually did have me enjoying the game. And since I'd never played a Castlevania game before, I didn't know what to expect, but I actually genuinely enjoyed that part of the game. Like, I didn't think I would, but I did. But I don't really have much else to say. I'm trying not to let the thing about the save file upset me about that, because like it's not technically part of the game, but my score isn't all that far off from Gyroids, because like I did end up making the save file later after he told me what happened with his experience. So I did have one run where I got reset to the beginning and one run where I didn't. So my enjoyability score is going to be a 20 out of 25.
Interesting. So, you want to take it away to overall feel?
I love this freaking category. This category is pretty much my pride and joy. I go way in depth on this. Alright, so when I look at overall feel, I look at graphics, I look at controls, and I look at audio. So we're going to start with the graphics. From playing the first fight of the previous game, going into the current graphics that the game already was a huge plus in my book. Like, if the game's like the game looks like this, okay, not bad. Then we go into the actual, okay, that was a bit of a red herring. Nice, I can get behind this. So the graphics are smooth, clean. Like, you can see the depth and the layers of everything as the world moves. They put a lot of detail in the background as well. The lightning weather. The vortex when you're about to lose your powers was actually really cool too. And also, yeah, like, they put a lot of work into the graphics of this game, especially the little after image that you leave when you're walking around as Alucard. That was a fun thing. Like, I enjoy after effect trail things because they make me feel like I'm going fast, even if I'm not. Sorry, you said something.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's always a fun feature with the little trail effect.
Yeah, when it comes to controls, like I said it earlier, but the whole the left button being the left hand, the right button being the right hand thing, not the L and R buttons, but what would constitute as like the circle and the square buttons. Those were fun to use as well, because like, oh, I could put a short sword in both hands and like slash, and that was fun. And like the whole inventory system, I didn't get very far into it, but like it seemed pretty extensive from what I saw. And if I'd gotten farther into the game, I would have loved to have seen more what I could do with it. And like the jumping feels nice too. My only complaint about controls is that you can't do the dodge while you're in midair. At least I don't think you can anyway. I don't remember. You can do it on the ground just fine, but if you're in the air, you can't hit the triangle button and make yourself do the phasing backwards thing that they allow when you're on the ground. And you can only phase in one direction, backwards of wherever you're facing. So that's a bit finicky in my opinion, but doesn't detract all that much from the game. And last thing is audio. They did a really good job with the audio. Like the music is sinister enough for a Castlevania game, and like the only really other like they have in-game dialogue that is voice acted and everything, which is for a PS1 game amazing. I mean, sure, Mario 64 has like Charles Martinet making a bunch of Mario noises, but that's about it. This game has fully voiced dialogue in a PS1 game. That's amazing to me. And also specifically the wolves in the beginning of the game. You Slasher goes. I just find that funny. Like they go down in one hit with your special sword, but either way, I digress. But that being said, with two complaints I had about the game, that's gonna put my overall feel score at a 20 out of 25.
I think I'm sensing a theme here.
Oh yeah?
So I'm not going to wax nearly as eloquent with my overall feel score. Because, like, as he said, that's his bread and butter, his beans on toast.
Beans on toast.
I don't know, I just thought of it in this for the moment.
More so, it's my cup of tea.
Oh yes, it's his cup of tea. That's his favorite category. So I'm not gonna wax nearly as eloquently on this category, but overall feel I definitely thought overall feel this game was pretty good. Like I didn't have any real complaints about it. Like the controls were good, the graphics were decent, the music was decent. There wasn't anything really negative I would attribute to it. The only reason why it's not the highest score that it could be is because some games overall feels are just like they kind of really get you in the feels, like they really like the vibe or like the feeling of that game, or certain games are just like immaculate. And this game, while it is like a great vibe, is not as immaculate as some other games that are like that. So I gave my overall feel score a 21 out of 25.
Not bad. Higher than mine, actually.
Yeah. And so on to replayability. So as I said in the earlier category, replayability, I feel like if I didn't get restarted after a couple of rooms, then replayability would actually have been completely fine. Because I'm sure the gameplay experience is different every time based on like the weapons you collect and things like that. Unfortunately for me, I died fairly early, and then got my save file not saved properly, so I had to restart.
Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, it wasn't great, and so that detracts from the score a little bit. But I feel like if it wasn't for that, it would have been a pretty decent replayability, because like different weapons, different like collectibles, different thing like that. I feel like that the gameplay experience could turn out different each time, and so that lends itself towards replaying as well. So, with all that being said, I give replayability an 18 out of 25.
Okay. So, replayability for myself. So, my argument, I don't really change my argument all that much for replayability. I have games in my library that I would prefer to play over this game, even though this game is fun, and I would see myself coming back to it. The whole save file setting up thing did kind of detract from it in this category. Because, like, if you forget to, well, at least for the emulator, if you forget to set up a save file, then you're kind of going all the way back to the beginning. Like, and while I didn't really experience that to the fullest, it did still bug me a little bit when I had to do it. Like, it didn't frustrate me, but the replay, it did nick my replayability score a little bit. But that being said, I'm not gonna shame this category fully because of like what he said about all the weapons and stuff like that, making the gameplay different every time you go through it. But like, I have so many other games that I can / will play, and while this game is fun, I don't see myself coming back to it as often as I would like. So that's gonna stagnate my replayability score at a 17 out of 25.
Interesting. So, that makes our overall scores for me at a 78 out of 100.
And for myself, it's a 79 out of 100. Pretty close.
Pretty close. So, now it comes putting it on the actual scoreboard. So, I'm 78, you're 79, Contra Hardcore is 78. I would feel okay bumping it up one singular point to put it at 79, right above Contra Hardcore. What do you think?
Honestly, I can agree with that because while Contra Hardcore was fun, that game was that game was a menace.
That game was chaos incarnate.
So yeah,
But
I am more than happy
was
with your
fun.
suggestion of like bumping it up a point to my score.
All right, there we go. And so that would also make it a B tier game. Yeah, no, an A tier game actually.
Oh wow!
An A, yeah, A tier, like slightly low in the A tier.
I can agree with that. It was definitely felt like an A tier game.
Yep. All right. So next is the recommending a new game. I
Alright.
believe it is your turn.
It's my turn for this game. So, like how Gyroid wanted to divert from our usual forte of games, I wanted to do the same thing this week. So, while we are going back to Nintendo for a little bit, it's not in the direction you think. We've done racing games, we've done platforming games, all that. But, this time, my game is Star Fox 64.
Star Fox 64. I've never played a Star Fox game before. I believe you played a Star Fox game once upon a time. Like
I
on
did. I
the
played Star
Wii U.
Fox Zero on the Wii U, and that was fun. But I've only ever played the original, like in like little demos on Smash Bros. Brawl. So I didn't get a very good taste of it. So
Oh, yeah,
this
I
is
never
my
even played the demo.
yeah, this is my way of like seeing what I can do with Star Fox, how it stacks up compared to everything else.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Alright, so next week we're playing Star Fox 64. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/SaveFile We release videos there every once in a while. Honestly, I've been super busy and I've barely been able to keep up with the podcast, let alone the actual Patreon. But we've got a backlog there of videos we've released. So go check us out if you want to see them. And check us out on Apple, on Spotify, and in my YouTube channel. Go check out Atomizer's YouTube or Twitch if you want to see live streams. If you want to see recorded videos, check out my channel. And with all that being said, we will see you guys later.
See ya.